Good evening. How everyone doing today? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Michelle Spiritual Divine. I'm here to give you a little short news on today. First we're gonna start with um, the school bus driver. He was arrested because he had the children on the school bus and he landed in a ditch with the student on the bus. So and that was in Georgia. That was in Georgia. Um, the school bus driver was arrested for DUI. Because one of the students had said um, they smelled the liquor and stuff on his breath. So they wind up and took a test, and sure enough, he was drunk driving the school bus, and that's how he ended up in the ditch. He had the students on board at the time. So the school bus driver was driving drunk with students on board and went into a ditch. So thank God that none of the kids was not serious hurt. So I request all across the nation, when anyone apply for a school bus driving position, you know, uh, we gonna proceed a background check, to see if they ever been stopped, with DUI, because they ever been stopped with DAI in their record. You don't need to hire them for to drive the school bus. Because we have to be careful with these, with anybody that's driving the school bus with these kids on there. We just had an incident in the school, so we really trying to protect these kids. You know, that's the main thing we need to check for. Do a background check, and that's one of the top on the list. If they ever been stopped before for DUI, do not give them that position. Do not give them that job, because if they did it and they said, "Oh, well, we just did it 5-6 months ago or last year," no, no, because um he was drunk and had children on the school bus. Thank God the kids was not hurt. So we know things happen. You know, it could have happened to anyone, but by the kid smelt the liquor on his breath, it only happened to someone that was drinking and driving. You know, so good thing the kids noticed it, and the police were able to check him to see if he was driving. And that's the first thing. When somebody go in the dish, sometimes you're not always drunk. Sometimes things happen. You know, but for them to get their license to drive the school bus, we need to check a background check and also check their history that ever had been stopped before. Because we have to we have to make it safe for the kids. We had enough of losing 19 kids. We don't need to lose another child. Especially one that's driving a bus for them and driving and being intoxicated. So now we're gonna talk about unsolved missing Tara Greenstein. She was 30 years old. She was a history teacher and at Irving County High School, in Georgia. So when she was reported missing, and now this was way in 2005, October 2005. So Tara went missing, and hardly anyone thought this case would ever be solved. And she also was a beauty queen. She was a beauty queen. So 2017, a woman came forward, with a remarkable story about her boyfriend. But could he be trusted? Because she waited a long time to come forward. So sometimes people don't like to come forward, and sometimes they'll wait years later and tell the true story. So 2005, you have disappearing a child. She a beloved teacher, and she was very beautiful and a queen. They say she was on the beauty queen. So Tara missing, been missing since 2005. So now they have now they have coming news. About the boyfriend. So they're trying to figure out, do we have a case? Is this the one all these years? But sometimes you have to look around their surroundings. Because sometimes it can be your surroundings that you look over. Now they look over that situation. Now the boyfriend name been brought up, so I assume they're gonna start investigating, asking him questions. So also unsolved missing divine, and I will also see what had happened and also see find where she at, and I will get back with you. My email and my contact number will be down below. So we also gonna talk about this gonna be an update. Um, Human when a family had went to auction and they had purchased a suitcase, but they didn't check the suitcase until they got home. And when they got home, they found human remains in the suitcase and called the police. Now the police said they was gonna investigate. Okay, so now they investigate. The remains that was found in that suitcase were two small children. So my heart just went out when I found out about it. I'm like, man, they, two small kids, and it was the suitcase was in the storage. So I don't know if they got cameras to find out who put the suitcase in the storage. And then with Ocean, I mean, they must have never examined the product. They just probably when people give it to them, they probably just sell it. So who knows what is going on with that. But they did say the homeowner who bought the suitcase home, they said it is not involved. Say they're not involved. So one, but they investigate and identify the deceased bodies. But they're still not determined about the DNA. They discovered the body and they noticed that it's two small kids, but they haven't done a DNA to find out who their mother is. So they can ask the mother questions or if the mother's still alive. So those are questions. That's the investigation that still is proceeding on right now. So the remains of two small kids found in an abandoned suitcase. So they are still investigating as a homicide. Well, it is a homicide because the remains are two small kids. So I don't know. They're still investigating. Because they're still trying to investigate his DNA. So we talked about the school bus driver drove himself in a ditch and had students on the school bus. And luckily one of the students smelled the alcohol in his breath. So they were able to let the police know, and they ran a test, and sure enough, he was drunk, driving intoxicated. And that's the reason why he went in the ditch. And sometimes if he wasn't drunk, sometimes things will happen. He might lose control, but in his case, he was driving drunk. And I request we don't need no bus driver driving the kids drunk, intoxicated. You have to wait till you get off if you want to get your drink. You got to think about the kids' life. That's in your bus. So I say when I request that anyone apply for the driver to drive the school bus, they need to do a background check. They have to do a background check. In their background check, if they have been stopped before, then they cannot apply for this job. But we have to be careful with these small kids that someone to be driving, making sure they're okay. So we talked about the school bus driver, do a background check. We also talk about the unsolved missing that been missing since 2005. So 2017, up until now, you have someone had came forward. They said it was her best friend. And she also, we're talking about her boyfriend, was, very demanding, So they're still looking into that. I don't know if they're looking into the boyfriend or not, but they're still looking and trying to find out find out is this, they're going to start investigating to find out is this the case they stumbled over all year around. And it was right there under their nose, so we also talk about the remains that this owner had found in a suitcase when she brought the suitcase home. She discovered, she opened the suitcase up, there were remains in the suitcase. So she had to hurry up and call the police. But now, they discovered who the remains is two small kids. They don't know who they are or who they belong to. but the police know there's two small kids. Two small kids remains was in a abandoned suitcase. And I'm so sorry to hear that. That two small kids, and we don't know how long they've been in that suitcase. You know, so we don't know if they was in there alive or they killed them and put them in there. But it's just my heart just go out to know that these things are happening to these kids. So that's all the show news I have for you today, and I'll see y'all in the next video.